More good progress on the Sentinel, even a power-up test. Afternoon YouTube. It is 1:22 in the afternoon right at the moment on a Monday. I'm in the shop, as you can see. I wanted to kind of go over a couple of things here that I've got done in the interim between last night and today. This is the volume pot slash switch, and this is a capacitor. Now on the schematic, if we look at it, this capacitor is right here. It goes from one side. This is the volume control right here. See, it says volume control. It goes from one side of the volume control to the other side of the volume control, and the wiper is the one that's connected to that 0.01 that I changed out, the paper wax cap that I changed, and it will connect to that. So this was wired, you know, obviously different than it is now, but I just figured the easiest way to do this was to put that across where it goes. It's not soldered yet, obviously, but I will connect the other wires. Now this end here, I believe, let's see if I got to, yeah, this end here will be the ground end, the low side of the volume control. This will be the high side of the volume control here, and these two wires here will connect to it. Now I don't know how well you're seeing those, but there's two wires there. So last night I also, after I turned the camera off, I went back and soldered this component here to ground where it was supposed to go, and I'm thinking about trimming that up a little bit more. I may do that, I don't know, but really it's not bad like it is now. It had leads going out both sides, and I don't know why they don't trim those things, but they didn't. I went through and checked on the schematic. This here is a resistor. It reads 2500, I believe, red, green, red. I think it's green, pretty sure. Anyway, whatever it is, it's I think Bob said it was a 1 watt. He looked on the parts list, but it's supposed to be a 2200 according to the parts list anyway. And this is the resistor that goes between the two caps, the two filter caps. If you look at the schematic, that is right here, and it says 2200 there, and it might even say 1 watt down there, I think. Now the schematic that I have on the computer is much clearer, and I have this blown up a little bit to make it look a little better for me, so I can read the values a lot better on the computer. But this is the one that goes between the two, the red lead and the yellow lead. So, and I did check all this stuff out. These are proper. They are properly wired. The yellow lead does go to the audio output transformer, and it also goes to the 35W4. Now I read this as pin 3 last night because I couldn't read that, but that is actually pin 7, and that is exactly where it is wired to. So it is proper. This is the yellow side, and the red side, well, I checked it out as well, and it goes where it's supposed to go. So really I'm kind of down to these two connections here. Well, I say two, but I've got this one here coming from the 0.01 cap that I put in. I think what I'm going to do is add a short lead to the center post coming out that way, and then I will just use some solder to this and put some heat shrink tubing. And I think I've got some black wire. I know I do. So we'll do that, and then that will be hooked up, and then, like I said, these two will go down, or go to the high side, and that will be, I think, long enough to reach. I'm not really sure, but if not, I'll have to do some creativeness, and I can always join these two together here, and then run another lead up to here. So that's not going to be difficult. But anyway, and then the last lead, this one here, was connected down here. You're not seeing it. This last lead here was connected down here because this used to be ground, if you'll remember. But being as I've changed the power switch over to the hot side of the line, then and I say the hot side, the side that's not grounded to the chassis is basically what I'm saying. It depends on how it's plugged in, whether it's hot or neutral. But I mean, I'm thinking very seriously about putting a polarized cord and plug on this, and then that way this will always be on the neutral side, unless somebody wherever it's plugged in at was wired the receptacle wrong or something like that. But I think these days it's pretty safe to assume that it's wired correctly. But anyway, so that is going to be again separate from that. That will go to the low side of the or the neutral ground, the side of the chassis. That's what that goes to. And this will complete the wiring, rewiring, or whatever you want to call it, of the radio. And I think after that we can do another test. Now I am going to replace this because for one thing it measures over 3,000, I think 3,300 or something like that, and it's supposed to be 2,200. So I think we're going to replace that and have that back to where it's supposed to be. I think the radio will be a better performer because it will give the voltage that's needed on, because most of the leads on the red side go to pin B+. If you look, this is the red one right here. These all go to the tubes and B+ and plates and things like that. And it's just, like I say, if you follow them all, they all go that way. So I think with a little better voltage on those, I think we might have a better performer. So that's the hope anyway. So that's what I'm planning on doing there. And that will, like I say, give me my rewired switch. And I'll have, I don't know if I mentioned this, but one side of the power cord will come in to the switch itself, and the other side will go to I think pin 4 is what this is here. Looks like it. But it will be, you know, going to pin 4. And I've got to find this line cap and see. I think it's 0.05 as much as I can tell. I think I might have a 0.05. I'm not really sure. If that hasn't been replaced already with one of these yellow caps, then I'll probably put a safety cap in it. Now I don't think it's worth it to tear out that and put a safety cap in it, because these are new. These are new. I don't think these are gonna short out or anything. So anywho, that's my feelings on that. That's where I'm at and what I'm going to be doing. And so stay tuned for this, and let's take off here and get started. I've already talked for 8.5 minutes, but you know me, I like to talk, so we'll be back in a bit. Alright, back again. It's now 1:45 in the afternoon. I have the leads soldered onto the volume control. This will be the high side, as I mentioned. It will join these two wires down here that I have twisted together. These two here. That's where it gets its feed from. And the green one on the switch is the low side of the volume control, which it will go to ground, chassis ground, whatever you want to call it. And this is the one that goes and meets the this lead coming up here from the 0.01 that I replaced, the wax and paper capacitor. And that will meet together, and we will have that circuit complete. Now the only thing I don't have completely done here is where the I know one side of the power line will connect to one of these pins. It doesn't matter which. The other side will connect to, I think, pin 4 maybe of the W35W4. If there's another wire that goes there, I may look for it and try to connect that. But I put one more lead on there for that, and I want to get an idea of where it's going. This one I made way too long. It's just got to go to here, so I can probably use it if I want to, because that's all that's going to need is that much right there. So it would be fine just like it is. But anyway, I made them long because, you know, you never know. I got plenty of wire. But it's no easy way of adding more to it once you cut it. So anyway, that's what I got to do. I got to double check my schematic. It says, if we look at it, this is the wire I'm talking about, and it comes up, I think that's 4. I'm gonna have to look at the computer to make sure. But also the pilot light connects there, so that's one place it connects, and this line cap goes there too. So if I can find either one of those, that's where that's going to have to go to, or I can run it all the way over to the socket if I need to, but I'd rather find something else to join it to because it'd be easier. So let me do that next, and we'll come back and show you what we come up with. Okay, while I was moving around a little bit, I've seen this red wire here. Let's see if I can get fairly close on this. This is got to be pin 4 or whatever pin that one is, because these are tied together, by the way. I don't know if that matters, but if I count from the correct way of counting, 1, 2, 3, 4, that's looking more like 5 and 6 is what that's looking like. And here's pin 7 right here. So I've got to double check on the schematic and find out if that's it. Now the other side of that bulb connects to here, so that would be pin 4 right there. So 1, 2, 3, 4, yeah, that's pin 4 right there. And this is the line cap, I believe, because it goes from ground. Are you seeing this? It goes from ground over here to that same place, pin 4. So I'm pretty sure that's where the one will connect from the power switch. So that should be easy enough. I don't have to even bother looking at the other now, so I can go ahead and do that, and that will be it. Now that other line is the other side, which is where that connects to if you look at it. So it connects to the other pin, because it looks like 3, 5, 4, I think, or 3, 4, 5, like that. I think 5's in the middle, but 4 and 5, according to that, are tied together. So I don't know how that works with the two, but anyway, that's the way it looks. But one side goes to, this may be pin 3, I don't know. Like I said, whatever, these may be tied together, and I'm just, like I said, I'm pretty sure that's 4. Anyway, I know that that's the one place it goes, because this line cap is here, and it connects to the pilot light, dial light, whatever you want to call it. So we should be good connecting that right there, on that side of the line cap. So I am going to go make sure, but I like this thing to be right, you know what I mean? And so I want to be sure rather than wrong. So we'll be back in a bit. Alright, that was close. This is pin 4, this is pin 6, and this is pin 3. Now according to this, pin 5 up here, goes around here, ties to pin 6. So maybe that's why these are like what they are here, because that is the ones that are tied together, and I didn't realize that because this is pin 7. Alright, as I said, this is the pin 7 here, we know that. And this is pin 6, and this is pin 5. These are tied together as they are on the schematic. And that leaves this pin 4 where the power comes in, power line. So that is where we'll connect our power line to. And on one side of it, from the switch, I'm sorry. From the switch will come to here, and the other side of the power line switch goes through the power line. Makes sense, right? And of course the last side of it, the really only other side of the power line, goes directly to the chassis. So it can actually connect here if I needed to, or over there, it doesn't matter. These are all good solid power line or chassis connections, so that should do that. So I think I have in my head at least where everything goes. So now all I have to do is actually hook it up. Let me try doing that, see what happens. Stay tuned. Alright, I am back once more. I have this all wired up now. The volume control is in, it's tight. I have the I took that lead I put on there off because this reaches, so I just soldered that directly to the wiper terminal there, and that's the bottom one's the green. That's the what am I saying? The ground, chassis ground. It goes over to the chassis ground. This is our hot wire here, soldered onto the I said hot wire, hot side of the high side of the volume control, soldered to the two items I had mentioned before. They will go back down once I'm done. This soldered in just fine, this capacitor between the high side and low side. And the power line wire hooks to this switch here, the switch lug here I should say, and goes over to, as I pointed out earlier, pin number 4 of the 35W4. I'm just not getting all these good connections, good pictures or whatever. So there's the pin 4 right there. And it is soldered in good. And I used a piece of electrical cord, power line cord for that, because that's basically what kind of power it draws. So everything else is hooked up. Now that only leaves one connection to make, actually two. One goes here to the power switch from the line cord. Line cord connects here, and the other side of the line cord connects to chassis ground. Now that is going to be it. I think what I will probably do is put in a temporary cheater cord, and we'll check this out, make sure it's working properly. And I may go over it one more time just to make sure I have everything set in place. I tried to clean up the wiring as best as possible. This one here, I've cleaned up them, and like I said, I replaced that one. I cleaned up all of these down here pretty good, and of course the electrolytics have been redone, and they are much better off like they are. They're good and tight, solid where they're at. Didn't need to use a terminal strip. That's fine. I just used a ground lug for that one. That was all I used for it. So I think it's looking pretty darn good. Like I said about this resistor, this will be replaced with a 2200. I think that is a replacement. I'm not really perfectly sure, but just doesn't look correct to me anyway. It might be 2500. I guess that's possible that that's all they had when they did the replacement, if that's what it is, or it may have been a production run change. You never can tell. But schematic does call for 2200 there, so I think that's what I'm going to try to find. 2200, I think that's 1 watt, Bob said, but I think I may look for a 2 watt because the 2 watts are smaller than the 1 watts used to be. So I think I'll just use the 2 watt there. Obviously it's changed values over time because, like I said, it measures like 3300 ohms. Now I thought at first it was a 3500 first, you know, because it measured 33, and I thought, oh well, that's close enough. So, but it's not really. So, all right, that's going to do that. Next time you see anything out of this radio, we'll power it up, and we'll do that on the Variax, so we'll have isolation, and we'll see how she sounds now. I'll hook up some jumper wires over to the speaker, and we'll go from there. So stay tuned. Alright, as my old electronics teacher used to say, let's tune for maximum smoke. So let me get this on. Not drawing excessive current. This is off. That's on. So that seems to be fairly functional. Well, now see, you know, I think I forgot one little thing. Maybe some tubes. Let me turn that off. Go ahead and populate the tubes in it. Alright, we are populated. Now, let's give this another shot and see what it does. Turn up a little voltage. Must have left it on. No, it didn't. Now it's on. Go up in the voltage. Seems to be operating normally. I have the speaker hooked over here on the side. You can't see it, but it is hooked up. Nothing out of the ordinary. 140 milliamps, and we are hooked up without the dim bulb this time, so we're up to 63, 5, 6, 120 milliamps. That seems normal. Let's stop right there for a second. See if I can see any tubes at all lighting up. I don't see them, but then again, I didn't see them last time either, I don't believe. Nothing on the pilot light's dimly lit, so I guess that's a sign that it's working somewhat. Let's go on up in our voltage. 80 volts, we should hear something. We're only at 120 milliamps. Oh, I hear something. Alright, we got something going here.
Like 65 or 70. Retirement begins when you have enough money to enjoy the lifestyle you dream about. It's going to take more than a dream, though. You have to get serious about making a plan. I've created an assessment tool that helps you know what you need to do to reach your dream retirement. Get your free assessment at chrishogan360.com.
Alright, I think we can go on up in our voltage. It should make a little difference. 150 milliamps now. Roughly 100 volts.
If you listen to the Dave Ramsey Show, we offer lots of books and resources in our online store. But did you...
That is the local station, I do believe. Coming in a little far past where it's supposed to be, so it's a good sign it needs some tuning.
About money. It's packed with fun tools and activities. And the dangers of debt. We also have the Juniors Adventures Bank with separate slots for giving, saving, and spending. And we haven't forgotten teams. We offer
Alright, like I say, it seems to be working.
called Generation Change.
So we're going to call that a success.
God created them to be.
I'm going to go ahead and go up to about 110.
And how to get the most out of life. The online store.
Now we'll go 115.
There are product
That's clear. So there you go, 180 milliamps.
Visit the online store at DaveRamsey.com and make sure your kids know what you wish you had known. That's Dave.
Got something there. That could be 84. Alright, that's good enough test. I'm getting a couple stations. Like I said, I've just got the antenna clip leaded in. I've got things clip leaded in. I've got the power clip leaded in. So, you know, it's not the best situation. It does work though. So this makes me feel confident to go ahead and replace the power cord and whatever else I was going to do. I think it's working pretty good, really. I mean, it hasn't been tuned up. Now you guys have watched enough videos, I think, to understand that a radio that's not tuned up and lined properly won't receive very well. And this is only a big, if you stop and think about it, other than the rectifier, it's only a 4-tube radio. So it's not doing too bad, really. Go back down here to the local station.
As your emergency fund. I understand that technically you can pull the money out. It's not a technical.
Not bad, not bad.
The problem is
I do like it.
Patterns and the way you view the money. You need a rainy day fund that is earmarked to be used for nothing except rainy days.
I could go ahead and twiddle with the IS and get probably a little bit better, but I'm not going to do it that way. I'm going to try to do it right.
To protect the things that go up in value.
Now, one thing I'm a little bit concerned about is the fact that I turned it off and I'm still drawing. Oh, I know why. That's duh. I'm still drawing 180 milliamps because I bypassed the switch. But the important part is the volume control works.
The things that are going to make you rich.
So that cleaned up really good.
That you're getting ready to cash out.
Happy about that, and I'm pretty sure the power switch will work also.
You don't have a retirement.
So it was just easier to clip on to the point where that switch led to. So, like I said, that is what's going on.
Investments make you money. Insurance costs you money to protect assets. Defense and offense are how you win games. You don't win games only on offense. If I could win games only on offense, I could have outearned my students. And I tried it for years. I can make money like nobody's business. I've always been able to make money. It was the keeping it part that was killing me. And that's how.
All right, that's gonna do me. Let me get this all fixed up and edited and probably upload it. Very happy about the way things have turned out. And go ahead and shut this down. Do it right. And like I said, go ahead and edit this video, and I know it's going to be plenty long enough. Probably too long as usual. So that's that. You guys have a wonderful day. Thanks so much for watching, and we will see you.